Wow. I didn't think about the fact that this is going to be real. No. No.
Why?
I grew up in a really chaotic household, and my oh my goodness, this is
I'll remind you that it says on that form that you don't have to answer.
No, it's fine. My parents are rageaholics, and I was verbally and physically abused by my older sister, and I was left alone a lot. And then when my parents separated and we moved to Los Angeles, my mom had to work full time, so I started being left alone at 8 to sort of like fend for myself. And so, no, I was very imaginative. My first addiction was fantasy, definitely. I got a TV when I was 6 because my mom was like, I don't know what else to do, like, you're here alone a lot. No, it was not. I had a really contentious relationship with my father. It's better now, but it's always been strained. So no, I was not really happy.
Okay, and kind of shifting gears a bit. Did you enjoy school? What kind of student were you?
What kind of school? When? I mean,
when you were younger, grade school.
I was like, I've been in school since 1986. It's like, no, I was a terrible student. I didn't get my first A until I was 23. I actually held the record at my elementary school for having the lowest grade ever. I got a negative 30% on a math test because I failed the extra credit, which I would have gotten a better grade had I tried not to take the extra credit, but I was just like, fuck it. So, no, I was continuously, well, first I was in a special tutoring class for kids. Well, I was held back in the 2nd grade, I should mention that, because I didn't talk. And they thought I didn't speak English, so they put me in like an ESL class. And then my mom was like, what the fuck is this? She speaks English, she doesn't even know Spanish. And then there was, childhood for me was weird. There was a lot of like definitely CPS came to my house a couple times. I had to paint lockers to graduate from high school. I've never been a good student until I got to college. And then I was like, and I have a learning disability. I still can't tell time. Like, I have to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And when someone asks me right or left, I have to do this because I write with my right hand, so I know that if I'm holding the pencil, then I turn that way. So.
Why you didn't talk?
Probably for some sort of PTS kind of stuff. My dad also has PTS because he's in Vietnam, so it made him really kind of violent. Yay! And I never thought that I was funny before because I don't even think I had a concept of like humor before that. But then every time I talked, people laughed. So then I started getting more and more extroverted. And then what really happened at 14, I smoked marijuana. And then it was like, I was a whole new person. I was like funny, I was loud, I was cool, like everyone wanted to be my friend. And by everyone, I mean like the people I wanted to be friends with were just like the bad kids, I guess, the other kids that smoked pot. Now, as an adult and like writing this book, I'm 32, in writing this book, obviously it's just like those kids were the kids that I felt the most connected to because they were obviously the kids that also, kids start smoking pot in junior high. It's not like an unusual thing, but I don't know, like the early pot smokers, I feel like there's like, we're hurt, so, yeah. I guess what it is like I did not get enough love and attention as a child. So I think I've always been very performative, you know what I mean? And then that was in me, but it took sort of like the weed to kind of like bring it out. But in private settings, like with my mom, I don't want to make it seem like my parents don't love me. They love me. They're just very flawed people who had their own difficult lives. And I would also like to add that my relationship with both of them right now is amazing. And it took a long time to get to that point. And they're good people, and they're not trashy people. They're really cultured and smart, and my dad is an engineer, and my mom is a florist and a painter, and she's always read, and the only reason I read is because of my mom. Yeah. Yes. Mostly in my family life. High school itself is kind of like an escape for me. I liked high school. I had a lot of friends in high school. I'd say just like being home wasn't fun. I mean, I don't really have like being in fights with my mom, those are bad memories, you know. Boys, you went to high school. Here's an interesting thing. Even when I was like at like the darkest points, I had very few moments of really being worried about myself because I always had, and maybe that was foolhardy, but I had like a real sense of inner direction, and I felt like I had this like string sort of like going up to God, and like if I just like I could have fun, but I knew that I've always made lists. I've always kept journals. I've always had goals. I've always I guess I should make this clear and articulate this. And you guys are all probably very similar because you're sitting in this room, which means you got into UCLA, which congratulations, it's not a small feat. Even when I was at my like silliest, worst, like I'm highly motivated and I'm a hard worker. I work really hard. I think I just knew early on that like it didn't matter if I got bad grades because I didn't want to be a mathematician, you know? And I've known always since I was a girl that I didn't know exactly what capacity I was going to make my mark, but I had this sort of like feeling that like there was something for me out there, and that if I pursued this thing that I felt and I just kept taking the right action, it didn't matter like how much I fucked up around that, as long as I didn't fuck up that thing. So, and then that plus like I guess a lot of luck. Maybe this is because I came from like a sort of rough and tumble early. It never occurred to me that I would fit in. Like it never occurred to me that I would have popular friends. Ironically, I ended up going to a high school where being fucked up is what made you popular, but that's not like the normal experience, you know. Like I did try to be a cheerleader in the 8th grade, and I didn't make it because of my grades, you know. And the principal had like a really like sincere conversation with me. You know, I tried to be on student body in the 7th grade. My grades didn't do it, so I knew that like there was a path, a more traditional path that I wasn't going to follow, and I think because of that, I've never been afraid to be myself. And I knew that I was never going to get a certain kind of approval. And so then there was no point in like sort of killing myself to get it. So I've always, I guess because of that, it's been easier for me to say things like, to thine own self be true, because I felt like it was either to my own self be true or like misery, you know? Like I either pursue the things that I love, or I just constantly sit in my room and ask myself, why don't I fit in, you know? Which is like, A really long book I'm writing right now.
We're lying in the medium. I have no idea what street we're on. I'm in La Puente. Motherfucking La Puente. I don't even know how to get back home, but I'll get there. Sure as shit I'll get there. I touch my cheeks and feel the tears that keep spilling from my face. It feels like my eyeballs have sprung a leak. I can't catch my breath and my cheeks hurt.
I mean, my parents are addicts. My sister's an addict, I'm an addict. I come from a family of addicts and mental illness, so, you know. I mean, I can understand the addict. I don't understand specifically why it's food for her and not, like, alcohol, like it is for my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, marijuana for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, plus some other things. But that's the sequel. I mean, I've done, like, every drug, basically, except with the exception of, like, I don't think I've done GHB. But, I mean,
All right.
I mean, I'm not going to show you how to shoot up or anything. I mean,
Okay.
I was like, you put it like this, and then you do that. It's very much like in the movies, you know? So, yeah.
Families?
Okay, I guess I should say this. I don't really think it matters, like, if my mom eats or if she smokes cigarettes. She's an addict.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that, like, the fact that she, like, sneaks food, like, I feel like that's, like, getting hung up on, like, the particulars, but the larger picture is that there's, like, a hole she's trying to fill unsuccessfully, and she's self-harming because, like, in the moment, it's more comfortable to do that than to deal with, like, the inevitable process of having to figure out what's wrong, which some people never get to. And I've come to the realization that it's probably something that I'm going to have to, that I either have to come to terms with, that that's what her life is going to be.
There are girls who are poems, like a smile is a poem. Girls who laugh their song through their eyes. There are girls who see the world but touch beneath it. And there are girls who are too much hurt, too much reality for dreams. In your eyes, I've seen the dreamer who sees the puddle of muddy water and gazes at rainbows. So all anyone can do, has done, is birth the dreamer past the doors of your fears, knowing the woman in you will lead through your eyes for your dreams.
Sorry, guys. Just girls, you know, like, I want you to succeed and you to succeed and I want you all to succeed, you know, but, like, I want you to really be happy, you know? I want you to really be happy. I want you to, like, do whatever it is that gives you joy, and all of you to find, like, you know, I just feel like being a woman and growing up in this country and, like, a Western sort of ideology, it's like you're so, like, you know, like, oh, my boobs, my makeup, I forgot, didn't shave that one little tiny line that I always fucking miss, god damn it, you know, like, or like, why doesn't he like me, or oh my god, or well, I should just text him. Like, I don't even know how y'all do it with the internet. Like, if I had the internet as a teenager, like, I would have been on, like, the FBI's most wanted list for stalking or something. You know what I mean? Like, I just like want, you know, it's like women are still buried up to their necks in dirt and stoned for cheating on. I mean, like, the world is, like, not an equal place. Sorry, guys. It's, like, a fucked and dirty place for women. And it's like, I did not come from your rib. You came from my vagina. You know what I mean? Like, I just want every woman to feel empowered, and I want all the girls to know that they're special and beautiful and worthwhile and can do whatever the hell they want. And, you know, and actually, Maggie Nelson is an amazing human being who was my mentor at CalArts, and she said this great thing to me. She said, James Baldwin hates white men, and he should. And you can hate men, and you should. And if someone asks you why, say fuck you. Say fuck you.
Maggie Nelson?
Mm-hmm. Say fuck you. You know why? 'Cause fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. This is enough. This is powerful. You know, thank you for your seed. You know, why can't we let men be human, you know? And So I think everyone needs to be included in the conversation.
Seriously, who fucking cares? Blow it up. I've said it now. Said the thing he was waiting for. He teased it out of me, tricked me into his evil submission, pulled it out like a stubborn splinter just to prove that I'm not as special as I put on. I'm not immune to DNA, no matter how much I like to pretend otherwise. He wanted to let me know that he knew I was full of shit, and like everyone else, under his dirty thumb.
He's in pain, and, you know, like, having sex for him is like me smoking a joint or my mom going through the drive-thru at McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way for him to have, like, a moment of reprieve from whatever it is that's hurting him. And he feels... He probably, at this point, the character in the book doesn't realize how he might be hurting the people that he's using, because he's good looking and it's high school and everyone's trying to be cool and having sex with him is cool. But also, like, the girl on the toilet seat is like an early, like a junior high weed smoker. Like, I mean, everyone eventually has sex, but not everyone has sex in a dirty hotel room with a strange boy, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like, who is that girl? Like, I don't know what drove her to do that either, you know? So it's like the whole book is just like a bunch of kids in pain, like trying to soothe themselves. I think that everyone does, but there are, I mean, you guys went to junior high. There are kids that smoke pot in junior high, but I feel like most people kind of maybe start smoking pot more in high school. Mm-hmm. So I think like the early pot smokers that get the high school kids into pot later, like, you know, the kid that had the smelly bedroom with the dirty clothes and like the posters, and, you know, the parents that were like, you know, I'll be home at 8, you know, like, yeah, those, you know, I think anyone that starts doing drugs at an early age isn't just trying to, like, have fun, you know, they're trying to cope. I have an essay, actually, that was in Best Music Writing, and it's about, like, me losing my virginity, which is...
The Guns N' Roses?
The Guns N' Roses one, yeah, it's about me losing my virginity, and that was for The Believer, and, so I was 20 when I lost my virginity. I mean, we're going to talk about sex, I might as well tell you.
It was not to date on, was it?
No, it was not... No, hell no. I never wanted to have sex with him. No, that's a lie. I did, just because he was hot, but not because I think, okay, so I went to 2 Catholic schools, and it was really pounded into my head that, like, the moment you had like a foreign object penetrate you, you know, in my case it would have been a penis, like, you are instantly, like, emotionally connected to that person. Like, that person, you, like, I had this, I don't know where this came from, but I had this idea that is, like, as soon as I had sex, I was in love. Not that I had to be in love to have sex, but if I had sex, I would be in love. And that it was not a romantic idea of love. It was like there was nothing I could do about it. Like, oh, I've had sex, now I'm in love with this person. And I was terrified. I was, like, terrified of that. You know, I, like, really did not want, like, another thing to... And a big part of high school for me was checking out, you know? Like, not... I don't mean, like, checking out what's going on TV. I mean, like, checking out. And, I didn't want that. It was too much. It was just too much, you know? I just wanted to get stoned and, like, watch Marlon Brando and masturbate and, like, you know, eat a vegburg, you know? Like, I really, like, I mean, of course I was horny, of course I had crushes, but it was too scary. Like, even now, I'm still sort of like that. Like, even now, I'm, like, sort of in love with a friend of mine. He's a very successful artist, and we hang out all the time, but I just can't, like... And I'm almost certain that he would, like, you know, do the roll in the hay. But I don't, you know, it's too much. It's just too much. You know, the thing is, I'm very emotional. Very sensitive, and even though I know there's no, like, chemical that makes you fall in love with someone as soon as they have sex with you, like, I did discover in my 20s that like even though that specifically doesn't happen in my case, it sort of does. Like I don't just went through a period of like drunk random sex, but really for as much as I drank, not that much. Sorry guys. Is that
I'm sure they have no idea what you're talking
is
about.
that TMI? I've always been very been very careless with my heart, but also like fiercely protective of it. It was really an emotional decision. I was like, oh God, I can't fucking be in love too. Like, you know, like there's all this other shit going on. Like I can't, like okay, here's what it is. For me, love has never been an escape. I never envisioned love as a place where you could like calm down and breathe and relax. To me, it was always like a hyper emotional, anxiety-filled place that like you had to really be in a good place to visit. Mm-hmm. Even now, like I don't think I could be in a relationship right now. I'm too busy, you know? And I have too many cats. Now, you don't have to believe in God, but you should have a belief in something larger than yourself. I believe. You don't have to, but it helps me. I'm not the most important thing in the world. I'm not the reason the world exists, you know? I don't know if the answer to why the world exists is through science or nature or a higher power or whatever, but the answer is not mine to know, and it's not mine to force. I try to put every human being in front of me, every human being that's in front of me, I try to give them the respect that I would want myself. I try not to bullshit people. I try to tell people when they've hurt my feelings, and I try to say thank you when someone's made me feel good, and just try to be as honest as I can, which is funny because like the whole project is the larger truth, you know, but I think the larger truth is about reaching a place of, for me, spiritual honesty. Okay, I'm straight up, guys, no bullshit, my life rules. Like, USC is giving me a buttload of money, a lot of health insurance, a lot of time. I mean, I feel like I won the lottery. I'm getting paid to work on academic projects that mean so much to me personally, and that's only because I pursued the things that meant the most to me, you know, and I'm surrounded by beautiful friends and family. I'm a firm believer in articulating your goals. So I will continue to articulate the things that I think would be good for me, but every time I think I know what would be the next right thing, something else presents itself to me, and I just want to stay open